Welcome back to the second part of the Derby City Council's annual general meeting, where we'll deal with several important political and constitutional matters for the Council in the year ahead. Item 7. Are there any apologies? I will take apologies again. Do we have any, please? Thank you. Declarations of interest, item 8. Are there any declarations of interest, please?
Councillor Patterson.
Councillor Patterson.
Thanks, Mr Mayor. On item 16, appointment of outside bodies, specifically East Midlands Airport Consultative Committee. I'm employed at the airport and do have some involvement in the Consultative Committee. So if there is a vote on that, I'll recuse myself from that vote. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Patterson. Item 9, minutes of the meeting of Council held on 28th of February 2024 and the 15th of April 2024. We will now approve the minutes of the meetings of Council held earlier this year. Will somebody move the minutes, please?
Councillor Shanker.
Thank you, Councillor Shanker. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Pearce. Thank you. Are there any speakers? Can we proceed to the vote by a show of hands? Those for, please.
That's passed.
That's passed. Thank you very much. Item 10, announcements from the Mayor. I have several announcements to make before we proceed with the meeting. Once again, I would like to thank all councillors for my election earlier today. We are all privileged to have been elected to serve the people of the City of Derby. It is a great honour for you to put your confidence in me as Mayor and First Citizen. I will do my very best to uphold the values and traditions associated with this historic office. I have no doubt that we will have some robust debate in this council chamber over the next 12 months. I aim to treat councillors fairly, respecting your rights and ensuring all voices are heard. Where we disagree, please do so respectfully and in accordance with the principles of public life that we're all expected to uphold. I'll take this opportunity to thank the Civil Services team who arranged this morning's mayor-making ceremony and Derby adult learners who served as a fantastic lunch. I know that our dignitaries and invited guests really enjoyed it. And now I move on to some housekeeping. Councillors will note the updated documents contained in the nominations for various committees and outside bodies were circulated after the publication of the agenda. Please ensure you refer to the online versions for the utmost up-to-date information. I expect that several votes are likely to be required on appointments. Please be patient as we go through this process and be sure that you indicate your preferences clearly. Please put your hands clearly in the air. In circumstances where there are more than 2 nominations to a single position, voting will be conducted in accordance with the Council Procedure Rule CP 73. Candidates will be eliminated from successive rounds of voting until a single candidate achieves a majority. Now, condolences. I'm saddened to report to the Council the death of former Conservative councillor Gerald Toff Andrews, who died on the 1st of March 2024, aged 89. Former councillor Andrews was the first councillor to represent Chaddisden when it joined the County Borough of Derby in 1968. He then served non-consecutive terms as councillor until 1979. He would later become secretary of the Conservative group and worked tirelessly for several Chaddisden charities until his death. Perhaps his most significant achievement was the work he undertook to secure Derby's status as a city. It was Gerald who carried out the research and political lobbying to ensure Derby was granted the honour in 1976, the year of the Queen Elizabeth's Silver Jubilee, having been turned down on several occasions before that. Before we pause for a minute's silence, I'd like to offer those councillors who knew Gerald an opportunity to offer their reflections. Are there any? I realise it was quite some considerable time. We'll move on to the minutes. Right, can we all stand for a minute's silence then, please? Item 11, endorsement of the Youth Mayor for 2024/25. It is now my pleasure to introduce an item endorsing the election of the Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor for the next year. In February, around 18,000 young people across 19 secondary schools and colleges were given the opportunity to vote in a citywide election. After a gruelling selection process involving shortlisting and hustings, events coordinated by the Voices in Action Youth Council, 4 candidates made it through to the final ballot. Every year, we're impressed by the talented young people who put themselves forward. Their passion, enthusiasm and confidence is inspiring to witness. We now have an opportunity to welcome our newly elected Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor for 2024/25. As well as we thank Mohammed and Harman, who have done so much of a fantastic job over the last 12 months. I will move the recommendation as printed, and subject to their approval, will invite Mohammed and Harman, the outgoing Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor, to address the meeting before Sam and Alicia make their declarations of acceptance of office. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you. Are there any other speakers? Can I move to a show of hands, please, for the motion?
Carried.
That's carried. Thank you very much. So now it's my job to invite the retiring Youth Mayor, Mohammed, and the Deputy Youth Mayor, Harman, to address the meeting from the lectern at the front of the dais. They will be handed a microphone by a member of the team, I think. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon all. First of all, before I get into the bulk of my speech, I want to start it off the same way that I did with my acceptance speech a year ago, and that is with Alhamdulillah. All praise be to Allah, to whom I attribute all of my successes and hardships to, and I'm thankful for the opportunity He has helped to guide me through. I remember when I first started out as Youth Mayor, I wanted to use the opportunity to the highest degree that I could, in order to help as many people as I could. It was the principal reason why I ran for the role. I not only saw it as a perfect route to excelling in my own ventures as a public speaker and aspiring politician, but I was grateful that I now had the means to make meaningful change, to benefit our young people, to support them, with or without the medal on. I'd like to think that with the time that we've had, we've been able to accomplish that. Here are just a few examples of how we've managed to do that. So from my aim of community safety, we led a highly successful White Ribbon campaign to raise awareness against violence perpetrated towards young women and girls, which went on to actually win 2 nationally recognized awards, and not only push my capabilities of how much work I was willing to put into this role through campaigning, emailing, meeting, and even a bit of acting as well. but it also gave me the opportunity to witness the incredible ability and potential of our young people from the filming to the creation of the campaign. I'm so lucky to have worked with such amazing young people, and it gives me great joy knowing our city will be in safe, hard-working hands. For cultural equality, I've been able to take advantage of unique opportunities never presented to a youth mayor before. My meeting with the European Commission Against Racism and Intolerance from the International European Council gave me the opportunity to represent our young people, not just on a local scale, but international scale as well, to showcase the diverse traditions, cultures, and opportunities this city has to offer. My work with faith leaders to establish interfaith relations, I hope, will cement the groundwork towards greater understanding amongst our elders and young people from our different backgrounds and learning to not only recognize these, but celebrate them too. Finally, for local environments, I've been able to work both in the background and practically to strive towards a greener city for our youth. From presenting and receiving feedback from schools on the issues surrounding their local environments, to meetings with councillors and climate organisations, to tackle fly tipping and litter, to participating in litter picks to make sure we play our parts towards cleaning up our streets and parks on the grassroots level. We have tried to encompass all aspects of this great issue, and I hope my successors will strive to continue these efforts with their terms. Now, one word has come up over and over again throughout my speech so far, and probably will do for the rest of it, and that's opportunity. Something that I'd like Sam and Alicia to take away with them. I couldn't be more grateful for the experiences I've had, the inspiring, welcoming people I've met along the way. Although your term may only last a year, its impact will last you a lifetime. So I'd like to stress that as well as prioritizing your other responsibilities, such as school, your personal and social lives, make the most out of this time. As with every opportunity you take, every email that you answer, you are opening another door to walk through. Yet also remember to take it with your own pace, prioritize your education so that you don't burn yourselves out ultimately. To conclude, I would like to show some gratitude and appreciation. First of all, thank you to Adele, Holly, and everyone that I've had the pleasure to work with and to learn from at the council and across Derby. Your expertise and advice has been invaluable and will definitely be something I take away for my future pursuits. Behind every great leader, there is an even greater team, and that certainly is the case here. Thank you to Allenton, my primary school. I couldn't be more thankful for what the school has done for me towards initiating my leadership journey, and it was an honor to go back to deliver an assembly to inspire our future generations, that our past is our greatest teacher, and our future is our most capable student. In other words, the mistakes we make in life ultimately give us the personalized lessons we need to adapt, to learn, and to improve. So never feel that failure is the end, yet a sign of greater success, something which has come up time and time again across my term. To Mr. Fordham, my previous head teacher who unfortunately isn't with us anymore, every day you are the leader I aspire to be, and the spark you saw in me all those years ago has fueled everything that I've done since. May your example be the standard towards what a true leader looks like. I'd like to thank Noel Baker, who I'm immensely grateful for, the staff, the students, for their endless and relentless supports, even to this day. I've never experienced so much enthusiasm and love from a school community before, and the unique opportunities they provided me, such as running my own assemblies, has shaped me into the speaker I am today. Once Noel Baker, always Noel Baker. And I wish the school the greatest of success, and hopefully we will get to see another youth mayor from them in the near future. To Littleover, my current sixth form, thank you for your unwavering support in helping me balance my responsibilities as youth mayor on top of my A-level studies. You've certainly made this a smoother and manageable role. To my fellow sixth formers and even lower school, your support has also been meaningful, so thank you greatly. To my partner in crime, Harmon, you have certainly made it a much more enjoyable experience, and your work ethic and commitment to the role is more than admirable. I mentioned this during VIA, the Voice and Action Youth Council meeting, that I didn't see us both as youth mayor and deputy youth mayor, but rather as both as youth mayors. We shared the workload, we shared the opportunities, and we made sure to collaborate, to work collaboratively so that not only can we better succeed in our goals, but inherently provide the best we can for our youth. It's why I think we have been so successful in our terms, due to our cohesion and reciprocity. All the best with your future aspirations, Harmon, and Derby has been more than honored to have you. All the best with your future aspirations and its youth representative, and we all can't wait to see what you do next. My biggest thanks goes to the young people of Derby. You are the ones who I have to thank for being able to stand here and act as your representative. You are the ones who motivated me day in, day out to push myself to ensure what I did to make sure that I got the most out of the opportunities that I had for your benefit. As this role meant so much to me, and I did not want to let it pass without any significant meaning. You are the ones who ultimately gave this young, timid boy the opportunity of a lifeline to show that he can try and prove himself to a larger audience. So truly, thank you. It has been more than an honor to serve my time as your youth mayor from 2023 to 2024, and I have no doubt in my mind, especially from the amazing things I've seen so far, that Sam and Alicia, you'll build upon our work and implement your own changes to represent the young people of Derby to the greatest capacity. Best of luck to you both, and thank you all.
Thank you, Mohammed. And for interest, how many ex-Noel Bacons have we got in here, in the chamber? There we go. Thank you. So I'll invite the Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor-elect to make their declarations. So sorry I got carried away with the Noel Bacon things. Carry on, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I conclude my role as Deputy Youth Mayor, and so I would like to express my deep gratitude for the opportunity to serve the young people of Derby. Reflecting on the past year, I am amazed at the progress Munty and I have made representing young people in various meetings and building confidence to speak for adults and councillors. Now, if you told me all this last year, I would have thought you were talking about a different Harmon call. I notably recall a phone call with Adele on my way to school before I applied for the role and put myself forward as a candidate, asking her of the various commitments that would be needed for a role as big as this. And I remember thinking that this might not work out for someone like me who gets nervous during speeches. But looking at my peers around me, I was once again reminded that this was for a far greater cause than my own comfort zone, and my desire to represent was far higher than any doubts and fears I had. As this term ends, many have asked how I feel, and many were surprised to hear that I was glad. Glad because we address crucial issues like job opportunities, student finance, and mental health all in 1 year. While I could detail all our achievements, I encourage you to follow the Youth Mayor Instagram page instead, or otherwise we'll be here for a rather long time. Today, however, I am happy and proud for my term to be ending, because today is about welcoming Sam and Alicia as the new Youth Mayor and Deputy. Their election highlights the biggest thing, as I've learned as Deputy, which is that needs change. Whether you're talking about young people, whether you're talking about adults or anyone. And so therefore the importance that lies in a representative local democracy. I have full confidence in their ability to lead as they now take on their roles. Lastly, I want to give a massive thank you to Adele Stiles, Holly Hardgrave, Alex Hugh, and the staff at Derby City Council for their invaluable support. And to all the young people in Derby, thank you for your cooperation and engagement. It has been an honour to serve you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And now I'll invite the Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayor-elect to make their declarations of acceptance of office with Emily as elected in front of the dais. Thank you.
Mr. Youth Mayor, I will now ask you to take the formal declaration of acceptance of office. You can repeat after me. I, Sam Thiruvalthilo,
I, Sam Dilwadilu,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of Youth Mayor of the City of Derby,
to the office of Youth Mayor of the City of Derby,
declare that I
declare that I
take that office upon myself
take that office upon myself
and will duly and faithfully
and will duly and faithfully
fulfil the duties of it,
fulfill the duties of it,
according to the best of my judgment and ability.
according to the best of my judgment and my ability.
I affirm my commitments
I affirm my commitments
to represent the voices
to represent the voices
of young people in Derby
of young people in Derby
and to corporate parenting
and to corporate
in,
parenting
in respect of the City Council's children in care.
in respect to the City Council Children in Care.
I pledge to take every opportunity
I pledge to take every opportunity
presented to me
presented to me
by virtue of my role
by virtue of my role
to promote the well-being of children and young people,
to promote the well-being of children and people,
and particularly
and particularly
those in the care of the City Council.
those in the care of the City Council.
I undertake to observe
I undertake to observe
the codes as to the conduct
the codes and the conducts
which are expected of representatives of Derby City Council.
which are expected of the representatives of the City Council.
Congratulations, Sam. Thank you. Thank you. Can you just swap places with Alicia? So, Madam Deputy Youth Mayor, I will now ask you to take the formal declaration of acceptance of office. If you can repeat after me. I, Alicia Ahmed,
I, Alicia Ahmed,
having been elected
having been elected
to the office of Deputy Youth Mayor of the City of Derby,
to the office of Deputy Youth Mayor of the City of Derby,
declare that I
declare that I
take that office upon myself
take that office upon myself
and will duly and faithfully
and will duly and faithfully
fulfil the duties of it,
fulfil the duties of it,
according to the best of my judgment and ability.
according to the best of my judgment and ability.
I affirm my commitment
I affirm my commitment
to represent the voices of young people in Derby
to represent the voices of young people in Derby
and to corporate parenting
and to corporate parenting
in respect of the City Council's children in care.
in respect of the City Council's children in care.
I pledge to take every opportunity
I pledge to take every opportunity
presented to me by virtue of my role
presented to me by virtue of my role
to promote the well-being of children and young people,
to promote the well-being of children and young people,
particularly those in the care of the City Council.
particularly those in the care of the City Council.
I undertake to observe
I undertake to observe
the codes as to the conduct
the codes as to the conduct
which are expected of
which are expected of
representatives of Derby City Council.
representatives of Derby City Council.
Congratulations.
Thank you, Emily. We'll now move to item 12, announcement of the Council Cabinet. We now move to the announcement of the Council Cabinet. Councillor Shanker was elected to a 4-year term of office as leader of the Council at our annual meeting last year, and we will now hear about any changes he intends to make to the Cabinet. I will move the motion as printed to receive the announcement. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Dinser, thank you. I will take approval of the meeting as given unless any councillor wishes to object. Councillor Shanker.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And can I start by congratulating both yourself on your election as Mayor and also the new Youth Mayor and Deputy Youth Mayors also. When it comes to the appointment of the Council Cabinet, Mr. Mayor, I said a year ago, having just moved on to 4-year electoral cycles, what we needed was responsible, competent leadership and stability here at Derby City Council. And it's with that aim I announced today that there are no changes to the makeup of my cabinet. So I will continue with overall strategy, governance and finance, Councillor Peatfield, as Deputy Leader of the Council, will still have responsibility for City Centre, regeneration, culture and tourism. Councillor Carmel Swan was last year appointed as the first Cabinet member responsible for climate change, but also transport and sustainability, and that will remain for this next year. Councillor Paul Hazelgrave is our Cabinet member for cost of living, equalities and customer inclusion. Councillor Alison Martin is Cabinet member for integrated health and adult care. Councillor John Whitby, children's social care, learning and skills, having just launched our flagship policy of the Derby Promise just last week. Councillor Shiraz Khan, who unfortunately cannot make it today as he is poorly, continues as Cabinet member for housing, property and regulatory services. And last but not by any means least, a very important portfolio position remains with Councillor Hardy Odinza for communities and street pride.
Thank you, Councillor Shanker, for the update. Item 13, schedule of meetings. Councillors have before them a draft schedule of meetings for the forthcoming year. I will move the substantive document before we discuss any potential amendments. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Shanker, thank you. Does anybody wish to propose any amendments to the schedule? Councillor Lonsdale.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. The CYP meeting on the 21st of October, I have heard from another member of this meeting that that date is unsuitable for them, and they request that they can we either move it to the week before or the week after, the 14th or the 28th. Would that...
Councillor Lonsdale, we're just waiting to see what the officers decide. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Lonsdale. Can I suggest that the future chair of that committee engages with the membership of the committee to agree an alternate date, and then we deal with that through democratic services? But the request is noted. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 14, constitutional appointment. Sorry. Right, so we'll move on to approve the substantive document. All those in favour, please. That's carried, thank you. Item 14, constitutional appointments. We now move to the constitutional appointments council have before them. The proposed appointments for the forthcoming year. I will shortly ask for nominations for any unfilled positions and conduct a vote for any positions where multiple nominations have been received, as indicated by the documents circulated in advance of this meeting. To save time, please raise your hands clearly and keep them raised until the officers have finished counting the votes. Once any contested positions are resolved, I will move the constitutional appointments and we'll vote on the document as a whole. I'm going to hand over to Alex now at this point. Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors, if I could first go through the document dealing with any remaining vacant positions, please. There is an independent vacancy on the Executive Scrutiny Board. Do you wish to fill that vacancy? Councillor Phil Ingle, thank you very much. There is an independent vacancy on the Disputes Resolution Committee. Do you wish to make a nomination to that committee, councillors? Thank you. There is an independent vacancy on the Personnel Committee. And there is an independent vacancy on the Conservation and Heritage Advisory Committee. Councillors, to bring to your attention, there are only 2 nominations that have been made to the Health and Wellbeing Board. Normally there would be more councillors nominated to that board. Unlike any other of our committees, appointments to the Health and Wellbeing Board are made by the statutory member, which is the leader of the council. However, I understand from Councillor Schenker that any councillor who wishes to be considered for that board may be appointed. So are there any other nominations to the Health and Wellbeing Board? At this point in time, I understand that Councillor Martin and Councillor Ashby have been nominated. Councillor Martin.
Councillor Kerr.
I've just downloaded the current version for this, and it also has the names of myself and Councillor Lonsdale. Are we on the wrong sheet?
Alex, do you want to answer that?
You're not on the document that I am looking at currently, Councillor Kerr. I know that you were both on the committee last year. Do you wish to be reappointed?
Yes, please.
Councillor Martin.
Okay, so we have to nominate ourselves.
So, would you like me formally to say myself?
No, thank you, Councillor Kerr. I've noted that your nomination and Councillor Lonsdale's nomination, obviously it's for the leader of the council to make those appointments. It will be dealt with outside of the meetings. This meeting, we're just taking expressions of interest, I suppose, at this point in time. Councillor Martin.
Thank you. As you probably know, I am chairing the committee and the board, and I very much welcome the appointment of Councillor Kerr and Councillor Lonsdale. However, I believe it would be very useful for the work of the board to have Councillor Hazelgrave as a cabinet member and also Councillor Wright on that board. So the proposal would be that we extend the number of councillors on the board, which I believe I as chair and Councillor Schenker as the statutory member can propose and approve. Thank you. So was that clear? I'm nominating Councillor Wright, Councillor Hazelgrave as well.
Just to be clear, Councillor Cecile Wright.
Yes, Councillor Cecile Wright, thank you.
Councillor Holmes.
Mr Mayor, Alex, if I could, through the chair, could I just ask clarification on the leader's statement about inviting nominations, or whether he's actually nominating the 2 Labour councillors that have just been nominated?
Councillor Schenker, would you like to provide clarification?
Absolutely. Look, this is a very important board. We need cross-party representation on this board. I think that's absolutely vital. And we need a mix of people from various backgrounds on this board. So if any member wants to consider themselves to go on that board, please put your name forward and I'll make a decision once I've got all nominations in.
Chair. Councillor Schenker will be making the decision based on who puts himself forward rather than the council making a decision this evening. Is that right? Okay.
Anybody else? Alison Holmes.
Thank you, Councillor Holmes. I'll add you to the list. And I think the final remaining vacancy is for the Climate Champion for the Independent Group. Councillors, would you like to nominate a Climate Champion? Thank you, Councillor Ingle. Councillor Lakin. I will now move to the contested positions and we'll work through the documents sequentially. So we will start with the Executive Scrutiny Board, where there have been 2 nominations for the chair position. Those nominations are Councillor Rawson and Councillor Poulter. Mr Mayor, if you would like to conduct the vote, please.
Thank you. Conduct a vote. All those for Councillor Poulter? For Councillor Rawson?
Councillor Poulter.
Vote in favour of Councillor Poulter. Thank you.
The second contested position is for the chair of the Corporate Services and Cost of Living Scrutiny Review Board. The candidates are Councillor Repton and Councillor Pattison.
Thank you, Alex. Now I'm going to conduct a vote for Councillor Repton. Thank you.
Yeah.
Now Councillor Pattison. Congratulations, Councillor Pattison.
The next contested position is for the chair of the Regeneration, Vibrancy and Climate Change Scrutiny Review Board. The candidates are Councillor Corr and Councillor Phil Ingle.
Right, we'll now conduct a vote. Those in favour for Councillor Khan? Corr, sorry. And now Councillor Phil Ingle. Thank you. Congratulations, Councillor Phil Ingle.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The next committee is the Children, Young People and Skills Scrutiny Review Board. There are two contested positions on this committee. The first is for the chair. The candidates are Councillor Cecile Wright and Councillor Lonsdale.
Right, we'll now conduct a vote. All those in favour of Councillor Cecile Wright, please raise your hands. And now, thank you, for Councillor Lonsdale.
Councillor Lonsdale.
Lonsdale, thank you.
The next position is the Vice Chair of the same board, the Children, Young People and Skills Scrutiny Review Board. The candidates are Councillor Kozlowski and Councillor Truella.
Votes for Councillor Kozlowski. Thank you. Councillor Truella.
Councillor Truella.
Congratulations, Councillor Truella.
The next board is the Adults and Health Scrutiny Review Board. On the paperwork, it refers to Councillor Khan. Just for clarification, that's Councillor Jangir Khan and Councillor Ralston as the two candidates.
All those voting for Councillor J. Khan. Thank you. All those for Councillor Ralston.
Councillor Ralston.
Congratulations, Councillor Ralston.
The next board is the Communities Public Protection and Housing Scrutiny Review Board. The candidates for the chair position are Councillor Nawaz and Councillor Eyre.
All those in favour of Councillor Nawaz?
Thank you.
All those in favour of Councillor Eyre?
Councillor Eyre.
Congratulations, Councillor Eyre.
We now move to page 2 of the document, which are the Council's regulatory committees. The first position, contested position, is for Chair of the Planning Control Committee. The candidates are Councillor Bolton and Councillor Pearce.
All those in favour of Councillor Bolton?
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Pearce, all those in favour?
Councillor Pearce.
Congratulations, Councillor Pearce.
The next contested position is for Vice Chair of the Planning Control Committee. The candidates are Councillor Bonser and Councillor Kerr.
All those in favour of Councillor Bonser?
Thank you.
Thank you. All those in favour of Councillor Kerr?
Councillor Kerr.
Congratulations, Councillor Kerr.
Thank you, Mr Mayor.
Councillor Peatfield.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Can I make a substitution, please, for the other members? We'd actually like to put Councillor Balbir Sandhu onto the Planning Committee, replacing Councillor Anwaha.
Thank you, that's noted. The next contested position is for the chair of the Licensing Committee. The two nominees are Councillor Sandhu and Councillor Alison Holmes.
All those in favour of Councillor Sandhu? Thank you. All those in favour of Councillor Alison Holmes?
Councillor Alison Holmes.
Congratulations, Alison Holmes.
The next contested position is for the vice chairs of the Licensing Committee. There are 4 vice chair positions and there are 5 candidates. We'll therefore conduct the vote in accordance with Council Procedure Rule CP 73, voting on each of the vice chair positions sequentially. So, initially, for the first vice chair position, the candidates are Councillor Chambers, Councillor Smale, Councillor Mulhall, Councillor Lindsay and Councillor Hudson. All those in favour of Councillor Chambers, please. All those in favour of Councillor Smale, please. All those in favour of Councillor Mulhall. Sorry, councillors, there is only one vote in each round of voting. So, Councillor Mulhall. Sorry, councillors, you are only permitted to vote once in each round of voting, but until a single candidate has a majority of votes. Now, in this example, Councillor Smale has achieved a majority of votes, so Councillor Smale is elected as the first chair of the vice chair of the Licensing Committee. Councillors, if we now move to the second licensing vice chair position, the candidates are now Councillor Chambers, Councillor Mulhall, Councillor Lindsay and Councillor Hudson. All those in favour of Councillor Chambers, please. All those in favour of Councillor Mulhall, please. Yeah. All those in favour of Councillor Lindsay and all those in favour of Councillor Hudson. Councillor Mulhall is elected as having achieved a majority of votes. For the third licensing vice chair position, the remaining candidates are Councillors Chambers, Lindsay and Hudson. All those in favour of Councillor Chambers, please. All those in favour of Councillor Lindsay. All those in favour of Councillor Hudson. Thank you, councillors. Councillor Lindsay is elected to the third position. And finally, for the fourth licensing vice chair position, the candidates are Councillor Chambers and Councillor Hudson. All those in favour of Councillor Chambers, please. And all those in favour of Councillor Hudson. Councillor Hudson is elected to the fourth position. Mr Mayor, if I may continue, the next contested position is for the chair of the Audit and Governance Committee. The candidates are Councillor Repton and Councillor Morgan McGeehan.
Yes, please continue, Alex. Thank you.
All those in favour of Councillor Repton, please. All those in favour of Councillor Morgan McGeehan. Councillor Morgan McGeehan is elected as chair of the Audit and Governance Committee. We now move to the third page of the document and to the Personnel Committee. The first contested position is for the chair of the Personnel Committee. The candidates are Councillor Bonser and Councillor Evans. Those in favour of Councillor Bonser, please. Those in favour of Councillor Evans. Councillor Evans is elected. There is a vacancy in the position of Vice Chair of the Personnel Committee. Do I have any nominations from the remaining membership for the Vice Chair position, please?
I'd like to nominate Councillor Sue Bonser.
Thank you, Councillor Peatfield. Are there any additional nominations? No. Councillor Bonser is therefore the Vice Chair of the Personnel Committee. Next, we move to the Chair of the Standards Committee. The candidates are Councillor Shiraz Khan and Councillor Graves. All those in favour of Councillor Shiraz Khan, please. All those in favour of Councillor Graves, please. Councillor Graves is elected as Chair of the Standards Committee. We now move to the fourth page of the document, and the joint bodies to which the Council appoints, there is a contested nomination for the Derbyshire Police and Crime Panel. The two candidates are Councillor Dinser and Councillor John Wright. All those in favour of Councillor Dinser, please. All those in favour of Councillor John Wright? Councillor John Wright is elected to the Derbyshire Police and Crime Panel. And the final contested position in this document is in the champions nominations. We have two nominations for the mental health champion, Councillor Chambers and Councillor Lonsdale. All those in favour of Councillor Chambers, please. All those in favour of Councillor Lonsdale. Councillor Lonsdale is therefore elected as the mental health champion. Mr Mayor, I'll now pass back to you to conduct the vote on the substantive document, but that now resolves all of the vacancies and contested positions.
Thank you, Alex. I will now move the constitutional appointments as amended for approval. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Pearce, thank you. All in favour?
Yeah.
All against? That's carried, thank you. Item 15, appointments to neighbourhood boards. We will now consider appointments to the chair positions for the 18 neighbourhood boards and ward committees.
Hand over to Alex again.
Sorry?
Do you want to hand over to Alex?
Yes. Yes, Alex, if you could.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. First of all, do we have any additional nominations to any of the 18 neighbourhood chairs for 2024-25? No, in which case there are two contested positions to resolve. The first being the neighbourhood chair for Chaddesden North, the two candidates being Councillor Hudson and Councillor Wilson. All those in favour of Councillor Hudson, please. And all those in favour of Councillor Wilson? Councillor Hudson is duly elected. The second contested position is for the Mackworth and New Zealand neighbourhood chair. The two candidates are Councillor Pandy and Councillor Whitby. All those in favour of Councillor Pandy, please. All those in favour of Councillor Whitby. Councillor Pandy is duly elected. Mr Mayor, again, I will pass back to you for approval of the substantive document.
Thank you, Alex. I will now move the appointments to the neighbourhood boards as amended for approval. Can I have a seconder, please? Thank you, Councillor Pearce. Are there any other speakers? Move to the vote by show of hands. All four, please. Yeah. Any against? Thank you. That's passed. Item 16, appointments to outside bodies and charities. Alex, please.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Once again, I'll take councillors through the document. There are several contested positions to resolve that are highlighted in your agenda packs. Initially, I will deal with any vacancies. Mr Mayor, I understand we have a vacancy to the Derby and Derbyshire Local Access Forum. One appointment is required. That appointment must be a councillor. Do we have any nominations, please?
Councillor Kerr.
If I'm happy to nominate myself, Mr Mayor, then I'm happy to do that role.
Take a second.
Have we got a seconder for that, Councillor Kerr? Councillor Adjutant.
This is appointments for the Local Access Forum. Understand it deals with rights of way. Moving through the documents. I believe we have a vacancy on the appointments to charities on the final page of the document. There is a vacancy for the Joyce Harper charity in Littleover. Former Councillor Skelton's term of appointment has expired this month. Councillors are appointed to a 4-year term. Do we have any nominations, please?
Councillor Peatfield.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Sarah Bolton.
Can I nominate Joe Nater?
Have we got a seconder for...
I'll have to check. I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to come back to that one, I think. Right, the decision is this. We're going to take a vote on both candidates. If one candidate is successful but they cannot stand because they're no longer a councillor, then the other candidate will go into the place. If the person who wins is not a councillor and he can stand, then that will continue. Are we happy with that?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. The candidates, therefore, are Councillor Sarah Bolton and Mr Joe Nater. All those in favour of Councillor Bolton, please. All those in favour of Mr Nater. Mr Nater is elected subject to clarification that non-councillors may be appointed to the charity. Mr Mayor, if I may now return to the contested positions in the outside bodies appointments. The first contested position is for Community Action Derby. 2 appointments are required. 3 nominations have been received. Those nominations are for Councillor Heselgrave, Councillor Nawaz and Councillor Prosser. We will follow the Councillor Heselgrave.
Councillor Nawaz would like to withdraw from that contest.
Thank you, Councillor Heselgrave. Therefore, a vote is no longer required. The next contested position is to the Derby Homes Board. 3 elected members are required. 4 nominations have been received. Again, we'll conduct that vote in accordance with... 5 nominations have been received. We'll conduct that vote in accordance with the requirements of CP 73, following the same process that we followed for the licensing vice chairs. So for the first position to the Derby Homes Board, the candidates are Councillor Bolton, Kerr, Evans, Kozlowski and Mulhall. All those in favour of Councillor Bolton, please. All those in favour of Councillor Kerr. All those in favour of Councillor Evans. All those in favour of Councillor Kozlowski. And all those in favour of Councillor Mulhall. Councillor Kerr is therefore elected to the first position on the Derby Homes Board. For the second position, the candidates are Councillors Bolton, Evans, Kozlowski and Mulhall. All those in favour of Councillor Bolton. All those in favour of Councillor Evans. All those in favour of Councillor Kozlowski. And all those in favour of Councillor Mulhall. Councillor Evans is therefore elected. And for the final position on the Derby Homes Board, the candidates are Councillors Bolton, Kozlowski and Mulhall. All those in favour of Councillor Bolton, please. All those in favour of Councillor Kozlowski. All those in favour of Councillor Mulhall. Councillor Mulhall is therefore elected to the third position. The next contested position is for the Dr. B.R. Ambedkar Community Centre Management Group. 1 appointment is required. I understand there is a change to one of the nominations, is that correct? Sorry. Therefore, the candidates for that position are Councillor Graves and Councillor Sandhu. All those in favour of Councillor Graves, please. All those in favour of Councillor Sandhu. Councillor Graves is therefore elected. The next nomination is to the Indian Community Centre Executive Committee. 1 appointment is required. Am I correct in thinking there is a change to the paperwork? Thank you, Councillor Pearce. So the candidates are Councillor Dinser and Councillor Pandy. All those in favour of Councillor Dinser, please. All those in favour of Councillor Pandy. Councillor Pandy is therefore elected to the Indian Community Centre Executive Committee. The next contested position is to the Quad Management Board. One appointment is required. The candidates are Councillors Morgan McGeehan and Councillor Peatfield. All those in favour of Councillor Morgan McGeehan. All those in favour of Councillor Peatfield. Councillor Morgan McGeehan is duly elected. And the final contested position on this document is the appointments to charities. I understand there are 2 nominations to the Liversidge Trust, where council is required to make a 4-year appointment. The 2 candidates are Councillor Shiraz Khan and Councillor Prosser. All those in favour of Councillor Shiraz Khan, please. All those in favour of Councillor Prosser. Councillor Prosser is therefore elected. Mr Mayor, I will again hand back to you to conduct a vote on the substantive document, but that resolves all of the outstanding matters.
Thank you, Alex. I will now move the appointments to outside bodies and charities as amended for approval. Can I take a seconder, please? Councillor Pearce. If there's no further speakers, I'll move to the vote by show of hands. All those for, please. All those against? Proposal is moved. Thank you. And now on to item 17, attendance at annual conferences. Council have before them and approved the attendance at annual conferences, which I will move. The document details the entitlement of councillors to attend relevant external conferences on behalf of the council over the course of the next 12 months. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Peatfield, thank you very much. Are there anybody else wishing to speak on this? If not, we'll move to the vote. All those in favour? Thank you, that's moved. Thank you. Item 18. The minute extracts 171 to 23 of the Council Cabinet proposed purchase and redevelopment of the site in Derby to provide affordable homes. The next item of business is a minute extract from the Council Cabinet. In April, the Cabinet agreed to purchase and redevelop a site located in the Abbey Ward of Derby to provide accommodation to support the Council with a discharge of its duties towards at risk of homelessness. The report recommended that additional borrowing would be required to facilitate the purchase, which is a function reserved for full council by the financial procedure rules. As Councillor Khan is not here, Councillor Shanker, would you take the responsibility for moving the minute, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'll formally move the minute. It's a very strategically important acquisition for the council, which has been through Cabinet and due scrutiny. In the absence of Councillor Khan, I'll move the report and the recommendations as printed.
Thank you. Do you have a seconder, please? Councillor Dinser, thank you. Are there any further speakers? If not, I'll move to the vote. All those for, please. Are there any against? Item 19, appointments to the East Midlands Combined County Authority. We now move to a report of the Chief Executive, which details appointments that Council is required to make to the newly established East Midlands Combined County Authority. The report lists the places allocated to Derby City Council on the East Midlands Combined County Authority Board, 3 advisory committees, the Scrutiny Committee and the Audit Committee. For each appointment, groups are required to also nominate a named substitute. Emily, do you want to explain this to the...
I think Alex is going to take us through the voting. If there are any questions, I can deal with that.
Thank you. Over to you then, Alex.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. In addition to the nominations that are in the published paperwork, I understand that Councillors Bolton and Chambers have been nominated as substitutes to the 3 advisory committees. Is that correct? Thank you very much.
Councillor Pearce.
Thank you, Councillor Pearce. I'll switch those round. So just for clarification, Councillor Smale is the nominated substitute for the Overview and Scrutiny Committee, and Councillor Eyre is the nominated substitute to the Audit and Governance Committee. Thank you, councillors. Unless there are any further nominations, that resolves all outstanding matters and the document can be moved for voting.
Thank you, Alex. I will now move the document for appointments for approval. Do I have a seconder, please? Councillor Peatfield, thank you. Any other speakers? If not, I'll move to the vote. All those in favour, please. Thank you. 1.
Thank you.
The motion is carried then.
If you could just bear with me 1 second, Councillor.
Item 20, Constitutional Review. We will now consider a report of the Chief Executive which details the outcome of the Constitutional Review that this Council commissioned in July 2021. Since then, with the support of external expertise and following workshops held with political groups on the Council and other key stakeholders, work has been undertaken to draft a modernised and updated Constitution for adoption, overseen by a cross-party working group of councillors. Although it is not an executive matter, given the wide range of topics covered by this Constitution and the importance of the Constitution is a governance tool for this authority, I will ask the Leader of the Council to move the recommendation contained in this report. Councillor Shanker, would you move the Constitution report, please?
Thank you, Mr Mayor. Yes, I'm more than happy to formally move the report on the Constitutional Review. My colleagues, Councillor Sarah Bolton, right from the beginning, and more recently Councillor Dinser, have been extensively involved with other members from across the Chamber in developing this Constitution and getting to this point. So I'll leave it for them to make more detailed representations.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. As the leaders just outlined, this working group has been meeting for well over a year now, of which I have sat on many meetings that have lasted quite a long time, because as you can imagine, the Constitution is a lengthy document, but ours was in need of updating. It was out of date, and as was highlighted, the Constitutional Review needed to look at the document in detail, and we did it section by section, and members from all the parties represented in the Chamber today were attending the working groups. And I have to say from this point, politics didn't come into it. We were looking at a constitution that was fit for purpose. We were looking at making it efficient, transparent and accountable, particularly to the people of Derby. So that is what we did as individuals at the numerous working group meetings that we've had over the year. It was just a shame that we would agree something, and more importantly, we agreed the way forward in many of those meetings, and then we went back to our respective groups, and that's where the squabbling came and things were changed and brought to other meetings, which was a great shame because we worked together and we thought amicably. We put documents to previous meetings, and that's where the frustration, in my view, started, because we all came to a conclusion very happily, and then we started squabbling and falling out. So it's a great shame we are where we are. But the paper is before us today, Mr Mayor, and I'm grateful, can I say from the start as well, that there has been a lot of officer time involved, and I thank Alex, who led the working groups, and I know Emily's nodding her head as well, because this is a huge document and we've done it as best we can throughout the last municipal year. But if you look at the recommendations on the bottom of page 1 and going on to the top of page 2, I think that is a sensible way forward, particularly 2.4, when we bring in the independent remuneration panel. Their role here now is crucial because we are changing things, and the last but one meeting of the working group got very confrontational because members wanted to look after their role because of the extra responsibility allowance. Now that all got very uncomfortable for me particularly, so that is why we did the sensible action, and 2.4 is there because it takes it away from us as deciding the remuneration for the various extra responsibility allowances. So I think we have before us today a sensible document, hopefully a way forward that we can all agree in that we want to make our constitutional fit for purpose, transparent, efficient and accountable to the people of Derby. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Bolton. Can I take it you're seconding? Thank you. Are there any further speakers on this subject? If not, I'll move to the vote by show of hands. Can I have all those who are for the constitutional review and the recommendations made therein?
22.
Yeah. Councillors, the motion is lost. We now move on to item 21, the Civic Awards Protocol. Our final report this evening is a protocol relating to the awards of Civic Honours by this council. I understand that the leader of the council requested that this piece of work was undertaken at our council meeting last November. Councillor Shanker, will you move the recommendation, please?
Once again, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The report is pretty self-explanatory. Thank officers, particularly Alex, for preparing this following the meeting we held last November, as you just outlined. It's to, in my opinion, protects the honour of the freedom of the city, but also introduces and reintroduces the Civic Award, which I think will be received well by the public of Derby. Not everybody, and there's lots of people in our array of partners and residents in the city who do a tremendous amount of work in and around Derby for various communities, and all deserve some form of recognition. And bringing in the Civic Award particularly, I think, allows us a simple mechanism to make that recognition. It allows us to collaborate and collectively work behind the scenes as group leaders before we bring those nominations, which I think is the right way of doing this, into the public domain and having those discussions. And I think this protocol will enable us, or give us the framework and the clarity to enable us to make well-informed decisions in the future. So I recommend the proposals are set out at recommendation 2.1 and 2.2 to Council to approve.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder? Are there any further speakers? Therefore, I'm moving to the vote by show of hands, please. All those for the Civic Awards Protocol.
22.
All those against?
Could I have a clear show of hands, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So, motion is carried then.
Motion is carried.
Right, thank you. The motion is carried. That brings the business of today's annual general meeting to a close. Thank Thanks to everybody who has either participated, attended or been involved in the planning for today. I look forward to working with you all over the course of the next 12 months and see you for our first ordinary meeting in July. On a personal note, I would like to thank everybody here today for taking it very easy on me. And I'm going to go home now and have a cold shower and the largest gin and tonic you have ever seen in your life. Thank you.